nhlanhla, Soweto Parliament. Today's date is the 9th of September 2021, and the topic at hand is Nike Stadium, Thabang Moloi, what top 7, what Sanko. He wears too many hats, but he presents himself that way. Sanko, community leader, and so forth and so forth.
Thabang Moloi, obviously community leader, chairman Zone 2. Sanko, top 7, we are liking nje ngicwele nje la ephimvile nje, and ngicoacha ebhola by profession. So in Nike Stadium, bantu benkosi ngicela ukunitshela something. In Nike Stadium ibelonga ephimvile Deepspruit. Sizoyenzani Mpumi? Kunabantu abathengisa iphimvile, kunabantu abathengisa iphimvili, bahambile bayothengisa iphimvili kuNike. Thina silwela iNike, bona bahamba behind our back. uLucky Lux bamnikeze icontract iNike, sakane contract neNike behind our back. Akahlale o25, uhlale o22. Ngumamili khona kayenza amavideo lawa sekathola umsebenzi eNike. Abantwana abaso25 bangakathola umsebenzi. 2, ngimtshelile uLucky Lux nganento lokuthi iNike ine apartheid enye engozi kabi. What is that? Uzwa ayiphumi kimi. Uzwa le voice note lapho. Bayithengisile bona nabo Sparks nabangani bakho Sparks. Bayazazi abangani baka Sparks bayithengisile iNike nabo Sparks bathole iNike ngoba bayithengisa ukuthi thina kuzothula manje bona bazophiwa imisebenzi lapha eNike. Bona nabo Sparks bangenile, sebangenile nomunye wethu. Zonke lempimpi lezi zisezithola umsebenzi eNike. Uyanya awukhola bosi yakhona sombonisa, so yasi 100 this time or 200 or 400 so uvala iNike somkhiphela.
Now, Nike Stadium, it has been presented, if you follow my timeline, that Nike Stadium is an investment by Nike into this community of Soweto. It's not a business investment by Nike. It's a corporate social investment by Nike. And to those who don't know, in Soweto, Nike has spent more than 200 million for this investment, so that the beneficiaries, on its policy document, it says that the beneficiaries of this investment are the young people of Soweto. When money left Europe to come into Soweto, in a kappa document the beneficiaries of this investment, this facility, are the young people of Soweto. Now, with that said, if that infrastructure, Nike Stadium, today called Sharpa Soweto, Sharpa Soweto, is for young people, every conversation we are supposed to be having is around young people, not old people's interests. Because the reason why I'm making this video is because we've got old people who, in Pinville, in Soweto, Pinville in particular, who are masquerading as leaders, false pretense wrapped around everything, hoping to capture Nike Stadium for selfish interests, selfish gain. Now, a lot of people in Pinville, banale problemo, but they don't have the courage to say. So some of us in leadership must speak and say that we're not going to stand by Thabang Moloi and top 7 and whoever else who may be part and parcel of your mandate. We're not going to stand by and look at you jeopardize and compromise on over 200 million investment that's intended for Soweto kaofela, and then in your words you want to capture it with your clique in Pinville and say that there's no way that investment is for Soweto, it's for Pinville under your masqueraded leadership, self-appointed leadership. The people of Soweto, I want to be clear that it's not everyone in Pinville who's behaving so naively, who is presenting themselves so naively. Unfortunately, there's a few that are making the rest of Pinville look very bad. Because if let's adopt this naive narrative and leadership style of Thabang and crew, where would we land up? That means Sentin City, that employs the thousands of people from Soweto, must now start employing people from Sentin and neglecting people from Soweto and Alexandra. That's what we are saying. We are also now saying that because Maponya Mall was the only mall left standing because it was defended during the looting. Only people from Pinville can buy in that mall, can work at that mall. So are we now having apartheid borders with apartheid masters controlling investment? I asked a critical question. Where you are entitled to ask, you don't ask. But when there's people coming, by Tauba, but it's an investment, I wanted to say that this is how we want to help Soweto. First, greed comes into play. And by old people such as Wena Tabang Moloi and the crew, but top 7 Kaufed. No, we must make sure that the security is ours. The cleaning is ours. No. Listen, it's for Soweto Kaufed. We heard that tomorrow, the 10th of September, your crew is planning to close Nike Stadium and continue intimidating Nike Stadium and the investment itself. Now, we want to tell you for free that we had a meeting about your actions, behaviors, incitement of violence, because that's what you are doing. You are going around misleading the community of Pinville in the WhatsApp Pinville, telling them, playing racial cards or how. Tabang, this is not about you. When you speak, you mustn't speak for your children. You must speak for the community at large to show true leadership. Otherwise, you are a selfish parent. You have nothing to do with the leader that you claim you are. What's important to the community is that we must be very smart and not be misled by people such as Tabang. And by the way, Tabang, in many cases, I've applauded him for many things. But when you are wrong, you are wrong. You must be called out. You are not going to run Pinville's mafia style with your crew. No, some of us are not. I don't mind Tabang. Nalekang ateka hulukile, as long as I am releasing the chains of capture of the community from the hands of where Nalbatuba sponsor and the Chumta Okofed. We're not going to have that thing in Soweto. If you think that Pinville is better than Soweto, you've got a problem. Then you must find yourself another place to live in, because clearly you don't understand what being a Sowetan is. How dare you think that Pinville is better than Soweto? UJ, in other words, it must only be attended by kids from Pinville. And then who spine about to Bamo Pinville fair like UJ? Can never be, Tamang. Can never be. The true mandate is such that when people bring their money, we must hear what they want to do with their money. And then we must align. Otherwise, we must make it clear from the first day that no, we don't want your money. Not at the tail end of the investment and start now rising in gangsterism and saying that, yeah, because it's by Yense, there's nothing they can do. We must block them like this. And because we know them, they'll be scared and be out of here. And we've captured the stadium. It doesn't work that way. Can never work that way. There's a new age leadership. There's a new type of leadership. We've got young councillors, Tabang. We've got young councillors. And I personally think that this is a result of you being upset at the ANC because they gave you a boot when you're running for councillor. And now you don't know what to do with your emotional self. You must just make sure that everything must fall with you, because I don't know only one. They must fall with you, Tabang. Just let the kids benefit. Tabang, let the kids benefit. Nakoya how ile Tabang. We've got new leaders, Renalibo Sticks, young, fresh minds. Why don't you allow them to lead? Tabang, why are you and your friends hogging leadership, self-appointed leadership? Why are you hogging it? Are you saying that Pinville doesn't have enough young people to lead agendas? Why are you trying to lead everything, Tabang? How old are you, Tabang? How old are all of you put together? And maybe you must also clarify you and top 7, because you don't fail to mention top 7. Top 7 kiboman Tabang. Eba clear. How old are those people? And then how about in business? Can you show us track record of when they received business and they shared it with who in the community? That's one thing I want to know, so that we can give applause to where it's true. We mustn't just talk from a point of not knowing, because right now we just see an aggressive Tabang and an aggressive top 7 who's just capturing everything in Pinville and saying that Soweto can go to hell.
Abontombi nabantu babo bathi Nike yase Soweto bayanya, yeah, sabi nokutsho yase Soweto Nike azayibona kaSathane, yena lo Sparks wakhona bekayikhansela lapha buya khona.
So nna ke tlo kwatela Tabang Moloi because o buile ka nna. I'm not that type of human being. My leadership is, hey man, my leadership is gabotse. So I'm not going to play in the mud with pigs, because people from a distance won't know who is who. Once we start playing in the mud, I'm not diving in the mud. So when Tabang speak about people like myself and say that nhlanhla are benefiting from Nike, have contracts 30 million go Nike, and we've got that on record, the way we deal with it, because we respect the laws of this country, such that we open a legal case for Thabang to prove his words when he's talking to the community. Aribolax, Banali, the contract ko Nike. That's why they are protecting Nike at the expense of the community. That's a big thing to say. Now, to show you example of young people watching, this is how you deal with such people. You don't go to the streets. No, the streets, we understand them. So if there's confrontation on the streets, we'll handle it, no problem. But this is how you're supposed to be dealing with such issues, young people that are listening and old people that are listening. Flag EMT Thabang, I'm opening a case against Thabang. Let me actually put it properly. A case against Thabang is well under its process. Thabang will be served in due time, to say then he must prove to the community Harry Bolax Kapalax only contract ko Nike, and that's why he's protecting Nike at the expense of the community. We're not going to play politics here. Some of us are not politicians. We are clear headed, we are open-minded, we are clear-minded, we are sober. Thabang, I've never let drunk. I get into it. So to Thabang and the rest of the cabal, top 7, unalo mention Sanko, Thabang, unalo mention. So all the heads you wear, because your words represent all those organizations, we include them too. Now, Thabang, we are not going to tolerate what you are doing. For those who don't understand why it's important that the investment intended for Soweto must go to Soweto, I'm going to help you understand. Now, you are saying that if the investment goes into Soweto and benefits all of Soweto, that means the taxi industry also benefits. Why? It's picking up kids, young people from Bramfisha, Protea, Snawana, Shawela, Lefering to the facility. As far as Dikloof, to the facility, all around Soweto. And then what happens after the kids, young people exercise programs under the facility, they then go back home using the taxi industry. Now, do you see the ripple effect of the township economy growing because investments are playing out how they were intended? Now, imagine if Sharpa Soweto, the 200 million only goes to Pinville, the WhatsApp Pinville, as per your struggle. I don't know what you even call what you are fighting for. As per your struggle. That means, where does all this 200 million investment go to? It goes to your pockets and your cabal. Only the kids in Pinville, I'm sure selected ones that you know their mothers, where Natabang will be the ones accessing that infrastructure that's been built by people's investment. I asked the other day, why don't we go to facilities where we have more entitlement over, rightfully so? Why don't we ask Koreko Teachers College who clean among recupe participation of cleaning from the Teachers College, or the community must also be employed APC because it happens to be government. When people bring their resources, we abuse them. Why? Because it's an easy access. We play politics around them. But the people who are actually supposed to be holding accountable being our own government institutions, and it's not wrong to hold government accountable. We don't do it. Why? Because the tola takas alone, that's a politiki. Go, balemetse. So we're not going to allow the future of Soweto to be disrupted by Thabang and the cabal. So now mine is short. Mine is to keep it very, very short and say that Thabang, when you guys plan to close and block off and interrupt the opening of next stadium, you're going to be met by us. Now, Thabang, let me tell you who's us. STS, Taxi Association Yamo Soweto Elongoroporate Damorunamo. You're going to be met by them. You're going to be met by young people. You're going to be met by other forces that you will see in the morning. So we are saying that Thabang, we must now go to the streets for. We will go to the streets and defend the future of Soweto with everything that we have against you and your cabal. There's a reason why instead of there's a big reason. And that's for you to tell them. Now I'm not going to accept your apology behind closed doors, your cabal's apology behind closed doors. You're going to do it in public the same way you've been dragging our names in public. We'll play your videos and we'll play your voice notes, but we're going to allow the court, the legal process to unfold, Thabang. We'll allow it to unfold and see where the clever capturing location di fella guy. So tomorrow, We wish to see you there. We'll all be there. 6 o'clock, we'll be there, Tabang. But we hope that in this video, you have learned, at least been given an opportunity to hear a different angle, because you can't just hear this one voice that's misleading you called Tabang Mulo. You can't. And I'm one person that can make another video clarifying issues if questions are brought to me. With pleasure, we'll do that. But what we are sticking at is that if Tabang wants to mobilize Pinville for Pinville to go against the entire Soweto, we'll see where that ends. That facility is going to benefit, whether it's employment or empowerment, is going to benefit all these hostels. Soweto is going to benefit all corners of Soweto, because the policy around the investment says so. It's not my opinion. It's not my opinion and can never be. With that said, nhlanhla, Soweto Parliament.